The Kashmir Files. It created so much of awareness about Kashmir. Every time all over the world, people used to think that Kashmir is legally part of Pakistan, not of India, and India should free Kashmir. After my film has come, not even one person has ever said free Kashmir, because the film has established the truth that Kashmir is an integral part of India. Without Shakti, Shiva can't be there. Without Shiva, Shakti can't be there. You have to carry both, the Shiva and Shakti. That is where all my understanding comes from. That is fun. I told you the secret of my happiness. That's where it's coming from. I believe that everybody has the power to be enlightened. Everybody is born with that gift. Like everybody is born with the gift to love and receive love. That's why the motto of my company is I am Buddha, you are Buddha, all of us are Buddhas. I'm creating movements. So you can say I'm a creative activist. I'm using film as a medium.
Hi everyone, I'm super excited for you to dive into this podcast with Vivek Ranjan, the director of the Kashmir Files. In this podcast, we dive into so many topics including philosophy, spirituality, and Hindu history. You'll get a deeper understanding of the filmmaker behind the film The Bengal Files, which is now out in theaters. Without further ado, let's get into the podcast. Thank you so much, Mr. Agnihotri, for being on our show today. I'm sure most of the audience already knows you, but just for some who may not, you're a renowned, award-winning filmmaker. You have many awards under your name, fame, everything. But today the conversation is going to be a little bit deeper than that. It's going to be about spirituality and your inner self. So I'm really looking forward to this conversation.
Great, so am I.
So now tell me, the industry you're in, acting, Bollywood, it's a very, very glamorous industry, materialistic industry from the outside. There's no doubt about that. But you're one of the very few people who went into spirituality, into Vedanta, which our audience is very familiar with. When did that transformation happen and why?
See, it's difficult to answer when, why. I can tell you when, I don't know. Yes, I mean, generally when you sit in front of a mic, you want to say things like, oh, on this date, this happened. I don't want to. I've always been curious from my childhood. I've been a curious child. I was always into inquiry, and I was never satisfied with the answers people give. I wanted to discover them myself. But then, as the world leads you to a certain kind of idea of living, so I also got sucked into this world of hyper materialism. I was in advertising, I was in US, and then, all the times being busy, where you glorify multitasking, you glorify being workaholic and stuff like that. And earning money, success only meant um, being ahead of someone. Okay. And so while making these movies, earlier I was making big ticket movies, the real, mainstream, big stars, glamour, sexy movies, multi-starer, shooting all over the world, making money, it's like real debauch life.
What people dream for, essentially.
Yeah, debauch life, basically. But then one day I realized, I remember, I realized that I am telling stories which people want to hear. So, I am not saying what I want to say. Also, I am lying to those people, and I'm making them lazy, because they are getting, you want to eat junk food and I'm giving you junk food. Okay, it's summertime, have Coca-Cola. Okay, summertime has nothing to do with Coca-Cola. You are selling junk to people who are lazy, basically.
Right.
And then I said, there is only one lifetime. What is the point if I cannot use my voice? There must be a reason why God gave all of us different voices. Why two voices are not same? Why two thumb impressions are not the same? So generally we say that he's not like me. No, it's not true. We are not different. We are unique. Nobody is lesser and nobody is better. We are unique. Everybody has a unique way of looking at the world. Everybody has a unique way of perceiving and interpreting or contemplating things. So I said, I have to tell what I know best. Okay. And in that moment, I understood that I have to, because I'm doing very disruptive kind of filmmaking, I'm doing something which is not accepted by the world. It's like I have to dig a tunnel in a mountain myself, and nobody is going to allow me. Laws don't permit me. Nobody allows it, but I have to do it to go on the other side where there's light. So I need a lot of energy. I have to be aligned with the energy, with the consciousness. And for that, I think my spiritual development started. Though I was always, now I understood this is a spirituality, but at that time I didn't know. But perhaps I was always,
In that search.
yeah, so there cannot be any spirituality without inquiry. You have to be a curious, inquiring mind. And then only you discover when you ask lots of questions. So if you see, my films don't have any conclusions, they don't have the end. They are always left open. The Kashmir file, there's no conclusion. Things happen and tuck, nothing. Tashkent files, no end. Buddha and trafficking have no end. This film, the Delhi files, which you'll see in August, September, has no end. You know, how can I create an end when I don't know the end myself? So these stories have no ends because I want to leave it for you to take this inquiry forward. Now I have given you the material. I have shown you the light. I have shown you the path. Now it's for you to discover your own path. You know,
I love
so
that.
so that's my level of spirituality.
Because I feel like a lot of films, they usually take the route of just expressing like a standard happy ending.
Yeah.
A lot of times they put the audience in a very fake world, a delusional world.
Yeah.
Like you're selling them a lie, right? You think that your life can be like that, and you're basically, in a way, putting them into one state of depression. That your films have a very realistic approach, a very inspirational approach, I would like to say.
See, you make template-based films because that happens when you think audience is dumb. Okay, the other person is dumb, and therefore all they need is this. You know, but that's not true. I have discovered by making these movies, the kind of movies I'm making, disruptive, independent cinema from India, I have learned that audience is very intelligent, provided you give it to them. People are not idiots. People are not dumb. They are smart people. You tell them. Okay. And why is it? Why is it? Everybody in the world, wherever they are, when you present spirituality in a language they understand, they are immediately attracted to it, which means they are intelligent, they are capable of doing things. Why do we think there is something I am capable of, the other people are not? They are, provided you give it to them. My films challenge them. They always walk and move so fast. They go into so many different dimensions, different areas, different layers, that it's difficult for me to cope with them. I challenge them, but they do. How do people play these complex video games? Okay, they are not dumb. People understand complexities of life. If you understand the complexities of life, you'll understand complex cinema also. So my films appear very simple, but they are very complex films. That's because I assume that audience is smart. So for me, my challenge comes from the audience. I say they are very smart. But since it's a medium of cinema, how do I keep their curiosity going on? So I have to move a step forward. I have to move a step ahead of them. My biggest failure will be, Samira, I'm telling you honestly, when the audience can predict this is what is going to happen in the next scene. I don't want them to be able to predict what's going to happen in the next scene. That is my biggest challenge. And that makes me better and sharper and makes my cinema more profound, because it's coming from the fundamental belief that this audience is very, very profound. Like Bollywood people, I don't underestimate the audience. I don't think they're dumb. Otherwise, I'll start dumbing them down by making dumb cinema. It's like why obesity is a problem in US, because everybody is thinking that people are dumb, they are idiots,
Selling them this.
and they're making them dumber and dumber and making them more and more obese. But somebody has to sell something which is healthy.
You were mentioning a little bit earlier that you know how to phrase spirituality in a way that is actually attractive to people. That reminds me of, I'm sure you must be knowing Maharishi Mahesh Yogi.
Oh, of course.
He was a founder of Transcendental Meditation. And he used to say this thing that he's basically letting people, into meditation, telling them that it'll make them peaceful, calm, and happy. And people used to say that, why are you selling it like that? Why don't you say that it's for enlightenment? And he says, I am giving them what they want, so they actually want what I want them to want. So he knew the bigger picture was enlightenment, was liberation, but he was selling it in a way so it attracts people to meditate and find peace and calmness.
Yeah.
Well,
So you know what? Yeah, sorry, you complete.
I actually, you can continue off this, and I also want to touch about success. So, did your definition?
Can I just intervene there before we
Sure.
come to success?
Yes, yes.
So you are right. Maharshi was right.
Yes.
Okay. I'll give you just one metaphorical anecdote. Elephants. How elephants are trained. When an elephant is born, they put chains, these big, thick iron chains on their legs so that they don't, in circus, that's how they do it. So they don't run away, move away, and hurt anybody,
Right.
And as they grow up slowly, they start making that chain thinner, weaker, weaker. And finally, when there is a huge, big, in its real form, the big elephant over there, what they do, they just put a small thread of cotton, what we use to stitch our clothes, that thread, and they put, okay, by that time, the elephant is trained. So a lot of this enlightenment you don't reach just by saying, oh, yeah, I have to get enlightened. It's also a practice. So when you say it is for peace, and which is true also, unless and until you are at peace, how will you move forward to enlightenment? Okay, if you are all the times in conflict and outraged, okay, you will never find that path, So that's where he was right. You cannot tell complex things to people. These are complex ideas, enlightenment, but you can't go and give complex ideas. So sometimes you have to make them very, very simple. And it's always, I have learned through experience, is the simplicity which leads you to very complex places. Complexity never leads you anywhere.
Because sometimes just memorizing what we call gyan, what we call scriptures, doesn't lead you to that end goal.
True.
It's about having that experience and actually immersing yourself in it. When you were talking about success, did your definition of happiness also change throughout this? Because I'll put a personal perspective here, and I could be wrong. I have found that a lot of people, as I've interacted with them in the film industry, are not really happy inside, but they portray to be that. So many A-listers, Jim Carrey, Keanu Reeves, have talked about this, that what is true happiness, and sometimes you don't really find it in fame. What are your thoughts about that?
See, fame is the best thing which can happen to you, and fame is the biggest cancer which can happen to you. Fame is the worst curse. There's nothing worse than fame. I'm talking about fame because I understand that better than understanding other things. What happens is the fame makes you a slave of your fame. You become slave of your fame. Okay, people perceive you in a certain way. Somebody plays a Superman, and when you go out in public, the little kids run after them. Oh, Superman has come, Superman has come. But he's not a Superman. He just broke, his heart is broken. He just broke off with his partner. Okay, he's lost his parents. He has a bad stomach. He has diarrhea, or he's suffering from inside. He's not a Superman. He's like you and I, a normal person. But people are perceiving you as Superman. Okay, actresses, beautiful actress, sexy actress, or if you have done a great film, then people generally talk to images. And now you have to all the times, because if you don't behave like that, then their entire perception is going to shatter, and then they will lose faith in you. Your films are not going to work. So keep your films, to make your films successful all the time, you become part of that fame. And then second thing, what happens is that you start repeating yourself. Okay, then you lose the originality. If somebody comes and say, sings a great song, then everybody wants you to sing the same bloody song all the time.
You become a slave.
You become a slave of your own fame and success. And then you are repeating yourself. You lose all the originality. Then after some time, you're not known for what you are. Nobody knows you. Okay. And you are in a cage. And that's why people are so depressed and so broken. That's why they go into drugs. That's the reason why they become alcoholics. That's why they can't stay in a relationship. They break away from relationships, and they become nuisance. They start hurting people. Okay, they think by hurting, it's not they want to hurt. They are hurt themselves and they don't know what to do with that. Those are the problems with fame. I realized when I was making commercial films, uh, even that day you came, you saw so many people come and they all the times want to take pictures and all that. I just do not enjoy that. So I run away from that. I find I like real people. I want to sit with real people. I want to hug someone. I want to give a warm hug to someone. I want someone to give me a warm hug. But what happens is when you're in a fame market, then you're just
Superficiality.
my image.
Right.
They are hugging my image. They are not hugging me. So it doesn't touch me. So when nothing is touching me, how can I be happy? And people want a pound of your flesh all the time. So everybody wants something from you. Okay, but there's nobody who comes and says, hey, come on, you have given enough, sit down. Let me give you something, just put a hand on your shoulder. Sometimes you just want to sit with someone and say nothing, do nothing, just sit there quietly, you know. So that's why people get troubled. That's why emotional trauma. And that's the problem with fame. So I have understood, I'm a researcher on fame. I can write books after books on fame. I've seen people very closely. I've seen myself suffering because of fame. Now I don't, because I'm liberated. Okay, you create an image for me, I'm going to break it next moment. You think Vivek Agnihotri is like this? No, next time you meet me, I'm not that. So instead of becoming a pond or a lake, uh, a pond or a lake which is static, every single time you go, you see the same lake, right?
Mhm.
So I have worked very hard. Now I'm like a river, I'm flowing. And if you put a rock, I'm going to resist that rock. I'm going to fight with that rock with all my Shakti. Okay, I am going to make sand out of that rock. But if you put your finger, okay, if you don't resist me, then I'm going to envelope you. I'll just, cover you up softly. You are not disturbing me. I'm not disturbing you. Both can coexist like that.
Mhm.
Okay. So that is the formula I have got myself. And second thing is, practically speaking, I stay away from Bollywood. Absolutely. I meet different kind of people. See, you ask my manager, you will know that how many podcast invites I get every day. I'll show you. If I open the phone after 5 hours, you'll find two, three people have sent, because everybody is making podcasts these days.
Right.
But the reason I've come here, because you're not talking to my image, you know, you are talking about what I've learned, what I stand for, how I think about my spiritual side, more,
You
my
write a
creative
lot on
side, yeah,
social media and Instagram. I think you write a lot of essays about consciousness and
creative
meditation.
consciousness, yeah.
Yes. And especially in the last
But let
couple
me
of
tell you something.
Yes.
When I write about cinema and politics, that goes viral.
Hmm.
When I write about creative consciousness, very few people read. But I get immense happiness with those few people, because for me, the real wealth is there. For me, the wealth, my capital, my wealth is not in, oh, how viral you are, how popular you are, how famous you are. Uh, I've learned it's like
That's
just
transient.
one
It's
of those
temporary.
things. Yeah, it's one of those things. Like I have to travel from here to Manhattan right now. I don't like traveling. It's a pain, traveling in traffic. But yeah, I've accepted as part of my life. I'm more interested in where I am going to reach, you know. So yeah.
Especially in the last couple of years, how did you really tackle with that ego ride? Because you were talking about, of course, did you have that knowledge of your true identity to keep you really rooted? Because especially after Kashmir Files, with all the recognition, it's very easy to go astray. So did you know like who you truly are and you were rooted in your true identity and that's why you didn't get into that ego ride or
I never let myself forget that I'm a small town middle class person. I never ever let myself forget that. Okay. And that's why if you see, I try to remain as real as possible. But that is not possible all the times. I have two sides, and I'm admitting that I have a split life, when I'm in my thing, films, etc., etc. So I'm a different person, because then it's a persona. I'm playing a role. I'm playing the role of a filmmaker. I have a responsibility. It's a film. There are stakes involved. Then I'm a different person. But when I come here, why do I have to be like that? So that's the thing. So I have a very smartly, I've divided these two things. I don't let them overlap each other. Okay, my relationships of film industry are very different. My political relationships are very different. They are absolutely different. And my other relationships, which I value or which are personal, okay, are very different. If I have a relationship with you, you will see in long term, you will understand what it
It won't
means.
be superficial, like in terms of
You
profession.
forget the word superficial, then you'll understand in long term. People romanticize, people visualize, people have an idea about true, deep, meaningful relationship. I practice that all the times, but then you cannot, because the other person also has to be able to receive and understand that. So in long term, if you know me, you will understand that I spend most of my emotional energy goes into creating deep, meaningful relationships. But we live in a world where we believe that love is only for one, not for many. That's a paradox you have to live with. That's why spiritual people, monks and all those people, you find they always have very delightful, blissful relationships with lots and lots and lots of people, whoever comes. But since I live in the real world, okay, I am not a monk, I am not a spiritual person. So if I show that side to somebody, it can be misunderstood, absolutely misunderstood. How do you do that? Okay. So you also have to be able to understand, if I want to have a deep, meaningful relationship with you, uh, then it's an eternal relationship. That's the meaning of Sanatan, eternal. People use it with dharma, which is not the right usage. It is actually, what is Sanatan? When we say Sanatan, what is Sanatan? This mic is not Sanatan. My body is not Sanatan. It's not eternal. What is eternal? This together. Everything is a chemistry. This together, what you are creating. Together, what you are creating, this vibration, this energy, whatever you are creating, that is consciousness. That is universal. That is never going to die. That is the real legacy you are leaving behind. That is the experience when you're part of this eternal experience, experience of a force, of an energy which is never ever going to die. That's where the true love is. Okay. But what blocks this true love? Money, power, sex. These are the things, you know. So you have to, first of all, break away from these things, and then, but then it's also a very lonely place because you don't find those kind of people.
Like-minded people is very hard to then.
Not like-minded, like-hearted people. Mind is the worst enemy of a human being. Heart is the best friend of a human being. Yep.
Because when you're talking about consciousness,
You are
also-
understanding what I'm saying?
I am.
Okay.
Consciousness being the one thing that never dies. It's the only permanent self that we.
That's the only eternal thing.
It's the only thing. And you were mentioning all those things that cause us to feel hatred, right? Because when you don't realize your true nature, which is pure consciousness, and there's always separation, you're always going to feel different from one another. Did you witness that, especially dealing with like actors and actresses, that a lot of separation between them in terms of jealousy, and because it always seems like no one is really true friends with one another. So how does that actually look
Yeah,
like?
but I'm
in
not
real
seeking.
world?
See, I am old enough to understand. I'm not seeking that anymore. It's like you go and when you buy a Coca-Cola, you go and give $1 or whatever it costs. That guy gives you a Coca-Cola, right? It's a plain transaction. You wanted something, that person delivered it to you, and there was a cost involved in that. Okay. Or you go to a vending machine and you put $1 and tuck, 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 the Coca-Cola falls down. You pick it up. There's no human being involved. That's again a transaction. So these are transactional relationships, you know, and most of the world is full of transactional relationships. Marriages are also, people make them transactional relationships. You make a balance sheet of give and take. How much I have given, you give me the same. But um, so I don't, I keep transactions as transactions. I totally understand this is a transactional. There's an actor, I'm paying a fees, actor is coming, performing, and leaving. Okay, it doesn't mean that that actor becomes my friend forever. Very often, the actors I work with, I don't meet them until I do next film with them. I don't, if they meet at the airport or somewhere in a party, we hug and, oh, hi, darling, and all that. Okay, that's fine. But in my real life, okay, which I am very protective about and which I really cherish and I love. In that life there is no transaction. Okay, so I keep it transaction free.
How do you divinize and spiritualize all your activities? Because usually what happens with spirituality in some way, your desires do become less in a way because a lot of the things you thought gave you happiness do not give you happiness, right? Whether it's the ultimate thing of fame or money or over excessive wealth, luxury, etc. So desires in a way become less. So how do you keep yourself driven and motivated even till now to really deliver those projects while having that spiritual wisdom by your side?
See, I have my own theory about it.
Yeah,
Okay, I have not learned spirituality from textbooks. I have not learned spirituality by going to ashrams and listening to monks. Okay, I have discovered spirituality, or I'm discovering. I'm a student of this creative consciousness, so I've learned it my way. I am not from a school of thought which says no desire. Okay, that is against creativity. Okay, imagine like this: uh, if you believe that we are created, if there is a creation, okay, there is some power which has created. Also do not believe in atheism 100%, that God or no God, that's your choice. Okay, whatever you want to believe, it's a belief. People believe in ghosts. See, believing in God is as good as believing in ghosts. It's the same thing. It's an alter ego of the same personality. But I believe I am God. Tattvamasi is what I follow, the fundamental principle of Hindu philosophy. That, and science also says the same thing, that you have that power of God. Okay, so that's one thing. But I'm not from a school which says no desire. That is not the objective of my life. Yes, the desires which obstruct me to find bliss are the desires I don't want to keep. But my desire, this is also a desire, no? And what is spirituality, enlightenment, consciousness? Also a desire.
Yes. The desire for freedom.
What is so this a desire? So you can't give a umbrella approach to desire. What? Because most of these spiritual gurus and all run commercial places, and they have to market themselves and all. So they say no desire. So they put you in a place which is impossible to achieve. Nobody in this world has achieved that. Okay, tell me something. I ask a question. If all the monks and the gurus and the mullahs and the priests, everybody talks about no desire, why do they talk to people? Why do they even have a public performance?
Right.
If you attain enlightenment of no desire, just sit. Why do you have to do nothing? A tree doesn't walk to your house and say, "Hey, listen to me." A river doesn't walk to you and say, "Hey, enjoy me." Right? So this desire thing is, I can't fall in that trap. No desire, no anger, no nothing. No, I'm a human being. I'm a complete being. I am a creation. There is wind also shows its angry side. Mountains also show its angry side. Okay, Mother Nature. We are in complete Shakti. Shiva. Why does Shiva does the cosmic dance? Why does it do Tandav Nritya? It also shows. Shiva means, where the word Shiva comes from? Shav. Shav means a dead body. But then look at the and when Shiva remains Shav, Shiva remains a corpse until Shakti comes. It's only when the Shakti without Shiva is only destructive, and Shiva without Shakti is nothing. So Shiva and Shakti, when they meet, then what happens? That's when Saraswati is born.
Creation.
Saraswati, a creation, creativity. And what is Saraswati? Why does Shiva have a third eye? Because either you are seeing from the left or the right, but it's the third eye which is in the center, which is the balanced. Okay, and what is this balance about? Balance is not about abandoning something. You leave the world and you go and live in jungles. No, that's wrong. Or you totally become like intoxicated with the worldly affairs and you don't care about anything else. That is also not right. So left eye sees right, right eye sees left, left information goes to right brain, and right information goes to left brain. No, somewhere the balance is in the third eye. That's why very metaphorically Shiva is the third eye. Okay. And this third eye happens only when you have Shiva and Shakti here merging, becoming one. When when you think it is Shiva, actually it is Shakti. And when you think it is Shakti, it's actually Shiva. Okay? You understood this part?
Yes.
Now let me take it further. Now look at the science. The most modern science of the world on which everything depends, these mics, this everything, whatever you do, is the quantum physics, the particle science. Okay, and it's because of this particle science we have been able to, quantum physics, we have been able to understand the nature of the world. Okay, we can keep talking about spirituality, but science is taking you another direction.
Right.
This is where science and this philosophy, which I spoke about just now, they merge. What does quantum physics says? There's a particle, there's a atom or a cell in your body. This cell has exactly the same power as the universe. Is equal to, it's not anything, it's equal to. Okay? And that's what Tattvamasi means. Thou art that, you are the God. Correct? God particle you must have heard. So I don't want to make it complex. Your viewers may not understand. But one thing I'll tell you, in quantum physics, they make these long pipes, where they throw one particle. You have CERN Institute in Switzerland. So when they observe the particle, how it moves, so it moves in waves and straight lines, static and dynamic. So when the particle is static means what? Shove state, doing nothing, absolutely still. In a static state, actually it is in the dynamic state. And when it looks dynamic, it is in static state. Okay. Second principle of quantum physics, when it is there, it's not there. When it's not there, it is there. Got it? So what I told you about Shiva Shakti, when it's Shiva, actually it is Shakti. When it's Shakti, it's Shiva. Because without Shakti, Shiva can't be there. Without Shiva, Shakti can't be there. That's why outside the CERN Institute in Switzerland, which is the world's #1 scientific experiment laboratory, and because of which we know what we know, when you enter there, you should visit that, because the first thing you see is a huge statue of Shiva in the pose of cosmic dance.
Didn't know that.
Right? So I'm telling you that. Okay, so I like to carry both with me. I am not saying I'm spiritual, so I don't care about science. And I'm not saying I am in science, so I don't care about spirituality. And science doesn't mean maths, physics, and chemistry. Science of life, as you experience. So when your stomach is upset, that is science going on. Without science, you can never understand that. Spirituality cannot understand that. Okay, but you have to carry both, the Shiva and Shakti. That is where all my understanding comes from. That is fun. I told you the secret of my happiness. That's where it's coming from.
And that's exactly what Swami Vivekananda used to say when he used to talk about enlightenment, that if you run away to the mountains, to the Himalayas, then you've missed the boat.
Yeah.
And if you've just emerged in materialism and luxury, then you've missed the boat. But the way to enlightenment is the middle path, where both those ends essentially merge together.
Third eye of Shiva.
Completely correct. You have a lot of, you have a company, you have a podcast, films that have Buddha as essentially the central name or topic. So did you find, was there a reason to start your company and podcast by I am Buddha?
See, the problem is that people think Buddha means Buddhism. No, Buddha is a Sanskrit word. Buddha means Buddhi.
Buddhi, yes.
Okay, Buddha. Okay, and there was not one Buddha. There were many, many Buddhas. The world knows only Gautam Buddha. So anybody who went into the path of inquiry and discovered something, discovery is enlightenment. So when you discovered something, when you are enlightened, you are in a Buddha state. I believe that everybody has the power to be enlightened. Everybody is born with that gift. Like everybody is born with the gift to love and receive love. Similarly, everybody is born with the power to be enlightened. Okay, and that's why the motto of my company is I am Buddha, you are Buddha, all of us are Buddhas. If you see, it's written there. So that's why I call it I am Buddha, because I work with a lot of young people. And so I want them to believe. Otherwise, what happens is that young people always think that older people know better than them. It's not true. So everybody is Buddha. You can be Buddha. Right now we are talking, we are in a Buddha state. We are in a Buddha state, right? So that's why it's called I am Buddha.
As a filmmaker, you're, responsible for casting in a way as well. Do you see that in some actors or actresses? So I want to refer back to the podcast we did with Oscar-winning director David Lynch.
I know.
And he passed away a few months ago, but it was our first podcast we had done with him. And he really talked about how the X factor in a specific actor or actress really makes them shine. He referred that as consciousness. And when he spoke with my mother as well, he was able to see that too. He said he looked like twin sisters, and he was really able to see that shining factor. Are you able to recognize that in actors and actresses? Some of them, you know it. How does it look like or feel like?
Oh, difficult to explain. How does God look like? So,
Trying me.
yeah. See, I'll tell you what. You feel it. If I ask you, okay, how does love look like? You can't explain it. So consciousness is like that. When two hearts meet, how does it look like? You don't know. It's just, it happens. It's a magic. So similarly, you meet a person and you know the way. See, as a filmmaker, what am I doing? I'm like a mother. I'm creating. I'm creating a world which doesn't exist. I'm creating characters who do not exist. So I create a character in my mind. I give birth to that character. So I have to put soul in that character. Otherwise, the character won't come alive on screen. So I have to uh, find somebody who puts the soul. So basically, these actors are the souls of those characters. So and earlier I was not so good at casting in the commercial films I was making. It's my spiritual journey, it's the creative consciousness which I live with. Once I started discovering that, it became easy. Now you see all my films which I have done, every single person, one thing you cannot complain about, that I don't work with greatest of the actors. Okay, and also then we create atmosphere in certain way that the best of the people come out.
Mm-hmm. Especially to the youth, or really in any generation, how important do you think it is for them to at least embark on this journey of self-realization so that it can better enhance their careers, their professions? The reason I'm asking this, just as a back history, because I feel like a lot of times the youth struggle so much with identity, that entire time is wasted on that, right? Just not being able to handle criticism, not being confident in who you are, and that really puts an obstacle to your progress. So for me, especially, I think this path of Vedanta and in self-inquiry helped a lot.
See, I'm no authority on this. I'm not an expert on this, and so I don't know if I can give you the right answer. But these days, when people have mic, they become experts of everything. All I can talk about myself. Okay, as a young person, I was also underconfident, confused, etc., etc. It happens, and I'm not saying spirituality is the answer. The answer lies in inquiring. Problem is, this world wants you to obey. Everybody wants you to obey. Every system wants you to be a loyal soldier. Okay, and I was telling your brother that's why the world wants you to shut up every single time, and so we stop inquiring. When you inquire, when you have a curious mind, when you inquire, you ask questions all the times. Then what happens? Then you experiment with life, and then you discover. Once you discover, you learn new things. Okay, and that's how confidence comes. Confidence doesn't come because you say, I'm gorgeous, I'm sexy, or I'm rich. No.
Mhm.
Confidence comes when you know. And with every knowing, you know that you hardly know anything. And then you inquire more. So, this journey of constant inquiring and knowing that you don't know, this knowing of not knowing is so important. Is so important. That's the only way to be happy and not depressed. But if you think you know, but actually you don't know, then you cannot deal with the world. And that's where the entire depression, confidence, everything comes from.
I think the education system and just general society is com- suppressing curiosity.
Oh, it dulls your mind.
It
It's
does.
the education system is creating loyal soldiers. That's all.
Nothing else. It's not allowing you to think out of the box.
No, not at all. The critical thinking is dead. See, what are the two most important things in life? Guess.
In life, just maybe love is one of them.
Right. Two things are how to live and how to love. There's no third thing human beings need.
Yeah,
And these are the two things nobody teaches you in school. Right?
that's true.
And what schools are teaching you? How not to live and how not to love. They are saying the only way to live is by doing a job and being successful. So if you're not successful, there is no life. And the only meaning of love has become like commitment, sex, and beauty, and charming others, and
It
it's
doesn't
too
last.
much of give and take, give and take, give and take, give and take, give and take. That's the problem. It's like a contract. In America, if you see, there's a problem. It's so much of give and take, and
Everything is transactional here
yeah,
in
that's the
US.
problem.
That's a
So
problem.
nobody teaches you how to stop transactions,
No.
right?
Oh, we won't.
In school they teach you how to transact.
Yes.
They are not teaching that the real happiness begins when you stop transacting.
Your upcoming film, Delhi Files, a Bengal chapter, it's going to be released in August, I think.
Between August, September. Yeah.
So you mentioned that it has to do with a little bit about Swami Vivekananda. Can you talk a little bit about that? What you can disclose that relevance?
Okay, so Swami, if the real brand ambassador of India and Hinduism and spirituality is Swami Vivekananda,
I agree.
and I'm a great follower of Swamiji. There are only two places in the entire world where I am aware of where the real holistic 360-degree renaissance took place. One is France and the second is Bengal. Okay, and in every social reforms, Vedanta, spirituality, Hindu philosophy, Hindu ritualism, music, art, science, botany, nationalism, Vande Mataram, Janaganman, both come from there. Journalism, medical science, you name it, filmmaking, cinema, food, recipes, you name it. In every single field, the Renaissance took place in Bengal. Where is it today? What happened to that land? Yesterday, I asked Swami Sarpianand, what happened in Bengal? So he said, ki, under the lamp, there is always darkness. Okay, but that's metaphorical, convenient answer. But what happened? Why nobody protected it? Why nobody said, oh, this is our great heritage? People cry when somebody dies, a dog dies, people cry for weeks and weeks. Why? Because you loved that. Why can't you love what you created? Why don't you love the cinema of Satyajit Ray, or you don't like Tagore or Bankim Chand Chatterjee or Swami Vivekananda's greatest of the teachings, Shri Aurobindo? If nothing, if you're a religious person, then Ma Durga, Ma Kali.
Everything is from Bengal.
Everything, so much of is from Bengal. Bengal is the lighthouse of Bharat, and today it's a land full of communal violence. You saw what happened in Murshidabad. People are being killed and they're migrating like Kashmir. So I said it's very important to show to younger generation that it's so important to tell them what you have lost. Okay? Unless, suppose you say, no, I'm very happy. I have money, sitting in air-conditioned comfort, I'm very happy. Okay? But unless until somebody tells you what you have lost. For that, I have to show you the old memory album. I have to show you album of your family, old album. You say, oh my God, this is how my grandparents were. This is how things were. Oh, then you realize, no, I am nowhere even close to that. This is what I have lost. Oh, Mama, we had this house. This is what we inherited. Only when you have this sense of what you have lost and you have pride in what you had, that's when you say, now I have to protect it, or I have to recreate it, or I have to rejuvenate it, or I have to reinforce it.
Yeah.
So it's as simple as that. So what I do in my film, this film I'm trying to do, is show to the world the greatness, what we have lost and why we have lost it. We have lost it because of fundamentalist religious politics or communal politics. So my question is that if partition was done as an answer to communal violence, because millions of people were getting killed in direct action day, in 4 days 40,000 people were killed. You know that the naked bodies of women, they used to hang in butcher shops.
I didn't know that.
Yep. They are photographs, and photographs are not taken by Indians. They're taken by photographers of Time and Life magazine. I'm recreating all that. Imagine the kind of trauma I must have gone through while recreating it on sets. So it will shatter you when you'll see the film. It's unbelievable. So we have gone through so much. Okay, so I always say we are damaged goods. We are heartbroken people. We are damaged goods. We have been persecuted for so long. Handle us with care. And so that is the idea behind the film. If that was the reason, if partition was the answer, if the democracy was the answer, if a secular state was the answer to stop the communal violence, why India is still struggling 80 years later exactly with the same communal violence? And that's a very, very important question which bothers me. And that's why I made this film. So after seeing this film, if you also raise this question, then I have achieved what I was set out to achieve.
And do you think by individuals going back and realizing what they've lost, it will essentially create more of a value for that place or for that?
Of course, yes, like the Kashmir files.
Yes.
And it created so much of awareness about Kashmir that's it went to all global platforms and people understood Kashmir in a different light. Every time all over the world, people used to think that Kashmir is legally part of Pakistan, not of India, and India should free Kashmir. But then when we did a screening at the capital, all the congressmen and senators came and they said, "Oh, really? Oh, we didn't know this happened." When I went to British Parliament, oh, we didn't know this happened. Then it attracted all the American, British, French, German, Australian journalists. They started interviewing me, and so much of awareness we created with that film that you must have realized. If you have not, somebody should go and check out themselves. Before the release of the Kashmir files, there were free Kashmir protests everywhere, like Israel and Palestine.
Yes.
In campuses, everywhere, people would say, free Kashmir, free Kashmir, free Kashmir. After my film has come, not even one person has ever said free Kashmir, because the film has established the truth that Kashmir is an integral part of India. So that's the role films play.
They play a very important role. I feel like there are, to be very honest, there's only some films that actually I feel like stay in your heart and deliver a message so powerful that it stays with you for decades and decades.
Yeah,
Right?
and I don't see films as films, like everybody sees. I'm not making movies.
Mhm.
I'm creating
Stories,
movements.
right?
I'm creating movements. So you can say I'm a creative activist. I'm using film as a medium, and I'm creating this movement not just with my films. I do follow up podcasts. I do follow up book writing. I write books on every single film. I do seminars. I make documentaries. I'm doing a whole lot of work around that theme. Okay, this podcast I'm doing here is basically because I'm part of this theme. So it's a movement. And for me, a lot of people, I was telling you, brother, that a lot of people think consciousness is some place you go, you'll achieve that, and I've got consciousness. No, it's a continuous process. You have to go at it, go on and on and on. So because I don't get people who I can have deep, meaningful relationships with, except for a couple of people, so I do this deep, meaningful conversation with myself. So I'm in romance with myself, and that's why these films are the babies of my romance with my own self. Yeah.
If you had to pick a few top films, it could be Bollywood or Hollywood that you've actually, not yours, that you've actually felt have really had a powerful impact or some type of spiritual significance, Bollywood or Hollywood, can you name something?
There are lots of movies. I can't make listicles, but yes, Schindler's List had a major impact on me.
Yeah.
I couldn't sleep for many nights, and that time I was innocent. Also, I didn't know about the depth of that tragedy. That film made it. Kamalai Pianist was also one of those films which has made great impact on me. Obviously, films like Godfather and all. Everybody takes those names. Those kind of films.
How about your views on Inception and Matrix, particularly?
Inception, I'll tell you, is a real problem of this world.
Wow.
Okay, and right now he's what, 13, 14-year-old kid. Okay, and five, because you are recording, so it will be on record. I'm telling you right now, 5, 7 years later, by 2030, this problem will start appearing in 6 to 8-year-old kids. It's a big problem. It's a huge problem. And this problem is happening because, what happens is when you change the environment of an animal, of a plant, plants generally don't survive, they die. Okay, but animals generally adapt. So otherwise, they become endangered species. But animals somehow, but then they become sick. Then they it's like when you get an animal which is supposed to be in jungles, a lot of people put them in cages and all. Have you seen these tigers and lions in cages, in circus? How do they look? How do they appear? Sick, tired, defeated, lost.
They're being used
Yeah,
in a
deformed.
used.
So similarly, what is happening? The technology, the way it is moving right now, technology, and the way minds are being fed, are being wired by the algorithms, okay, that they are creating a problem for human beings. And the children are the biggest victims. Okay, there's so much of pressure on kids right now. And I see this problem right now. It's at 13, 14, puberty, adolescence, whatever you want to call it, 13, 14. It's going to come down. In my time, this used to be a problem at 25, 28, 29, 27. You can ask your mother. She knows it better. So, but now it's a problem. It's a epidemic.
Do you
But
think?
creatively, it's outstanding.
Yeah. Do you think that artificial intelligence, there's no way to go behind it, is going to somehow negatively impact the film industry?
Is this the last question?
Second to last.
Okay. So, for me, so I'll tell you what is my theory, what I believe. Human beings have been taming other species of the nature. We tamed trees, plants. Then we started taming cats and dogs. Then cows, then buffaloes and horses,
Right.
elephants. We have tamed. We are so powerful with our brain. We are so weak. We are the weakest people. We can't survive. Why ACs? Why heaters? You can't survive outside. Animals can. We can't. Okay. Uh, uh, um, so we tamed everything. Okay, we picked up mice, started doing experiments on them. Tigers, lions, elephants, all kinds of animals. We tamed. That is our biggest strength. We tamed. How did we tame? With our brain, right? Our brain was the most powerful. Our brain never depended on anything. So our brain did original thinking and started taming and started using everything available on this earth to our comfort, convenience, and advantage. Correct? Now, we created something, okay, slowly. You see, there are people who are chat GPT addicts. They don't. Somebody was telling me, oh, before eating, I just asked chat GPT, okay, what should I eat? So they have data, they know your profile, so it keeps telling
I
you.
know a lot of people
They are getting
obsessed.
addicted, and for everything now in your life, you are slowly are becoming dependent on
Dependent.
AI, and slowly you'll become hugely dependent on that, and AI is learning from us. Animals also learns from us. Dogs behave like human beings. Dogs have stopped behaving like dogs anymore. Horses have stopped behaving like horses. We have taken the horseness out of a
Adaptation.
horse. So AI is learning from us. Okay. And slowly, by and by and by and by, I have a feeling the day AI starts learning our emotional turmoils, conflicts, the inner, the subconscious part of it, which it will at any given point of time. The moment it learns this, I would I predict that AI is going to tame us. Then our status will be what is the status of a dog in our house. A dog doesn't move without us. We won't move without AI. That much I can predict, at this point of time. So that will, I'm not saying that's the end of the human race, but that will be the end of human freedom.
Last question. Because to be very honest, especially as a viewer, as an audience, when I look at Bollywood, there's only a few people who I personally feel connected to. You're one of them. Anupam Kher is the second one. How has it been working with him? Because I feel like he's in most of your projects, I guess.
Oh, yeah, we are very well connected and we love each other. We have deep respect for each other, for our craft. And it's always a pleasure working with him. One thing is you enjoy working with people because they are good actors or good singers when you do music for their craft. Okay, another thing is some people are good human beings. Okay, you like their presence, you like being with them.
Vibration.
So I like being with Anupam Kher, And I hope he also likes being with me. If you ask him next time, if you ever do a podcast with him. And yeah, it's always great. Yeah. And also enjoy working with Mithun Chakravarti a lot. I love working with this man. You can give any challenge to him.
I mean, they're
Yes,
icons. So,
yeah.
because there are only some people, when you see them on screen, their vibration comes out.
Yeah.
I think that's one of them. It was such an honor having you here, sir. I'm very, very grateful. To be very honest, I think you're, beside David Lynch as a Hollywood director, and then you're the renowned film director from Bollywood that we've had here. And I personally wanted to have this conversation because also, not only because of your awards and your recognition, but really because of your heart and your wisdom. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. I wish you all the best.